So I'm going to call this public.
Hold on 1 sec so I can start the stream.
Sorry.
We're good.
All right. We have a quorum. I'll call the public session to order. And I need a motion to adjourn into closed session, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who's that, Jen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Roll call vote. Is Chris here yet? No. Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
The motion passes to go to closed session 4-0-1. Okay. I'll see you on the other side, folks. arrived. The long commute. Okay. I need a motion to reconvene into open session, please.
So moved.
Second.
And second, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Passes 5-0-0. Time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I've got a flag behind me. I'm going to stand up. Let's do the pledge. Everybody ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Oh, no, I dropped my pen. I hope that's a sign of good things. Okay, let's see. Adoption of the agenda. We've had to change the agenda. It's a good change. For future, the next meeting, future agenda items, which is buried at the end of the agenda. Future agenda items, April 1st board meeting. We have a meeting on April Fools. Really? Well, anyways, it currently says it's going to be held at district office. No, it's not. It's going to be in the Spreckels School auditorium, socially distanced, in person. We're going to be in a large space together, and I'm looking forward to it. With that, I'd love to entertain a motion on the amended agenda, please.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Second, a roll call vote, please. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
All right, passes 5-0-0. And announcement of actions taken in closed session. We gave directions on negotiations with STA. Recognition, Buena Vista Middle School Be Kind message.
I'm going to, Kate, do you want me to share the video? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. Go. I'll have you share it, so you'll get ready. But I do have two students here that after we watch the video, I'm going to let them kind of explain the message of why they did it and how difficult it was to make this video. What you're seeing is a group of students from the leadership class at Buena Vista, and I'll let Monica share it, and then we'll let Jordan Strapinski and Lexi Inlow talk a little bit about this message. And Monica, currently there's no volume.
Monica, you might have to unmute yourself.
Well, here's something now.
And we're currently not seeing. Do you want me to display it on my end?
Monica, I think this isn't now disconnected. We're not seeing the video.
In our world nowadays, we have to give each other patience, space, and grace to get things rolling in the technological world.
Were you not able to see it?
Oh no.
No? Okay, hold on.
I can do it from my end if you want me to jump in. We're getting it.
Can you see it?
We can see it.
Okay, let's try again.
We can hear it. Just very faintly. Yay! So I'm going to let these two leadership students talk about it. Lexi and Jordan, if you guys wanted to jump on and explain the process. I know we couldn't hear it as well. And I know nobody can really understand the difficulty of how hard that is to do on a Google Meet. So go ahead and jump in, ladies.
Okay, well, that video, I think, took us 4 periods of maybe even 5 just to make the video. And it was all a matter of like different people joining into the meet and then changing the whole like like everybody's places. So we would have to change them all, and then everybody would have a new sign, and then we would have to keep doing it if like someone messed up. So it took us like 5 class periods just to get it right, and then we still messed up even that time.
Go ahead, Lexi.
Okay, there is this. Okay, when we were filming the video, almost every time something would go wrong, and it wasn't like one student that would mess up. Like someone would mess up like with a minor thing, and we'd keep going, and then somebody else would start laughing from it, and then we'd all get off track. And then there was another time we were filming it, and we were doing pretty good, and then our breakout rooms ended in the middle of us doing it. And then there was another time where we were doing it, and the Miss Pagara came in to tell us how much time we had left because she had to leave for a meeting. And so we had to redo it. And it was just like a whole ordeal, and we had to switch from people who were filming it because some people couldn't do it anymore. Like, I know we started with Isabella, and then Abby had to end up doing it because something went wrong. It was like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah, one of the funny things that happened was like we would get almost done, and then someone would do it, and we would look back on the video, and almost half the people's papers were upside down, so no one could even read anything. And so I remember we almost submitted a video, and then we looked back, and like 3 people's papers were upside down, and so that didn't really work out that well. And the music, we didn't really need to hear it, but it was more just a distraction for us because we couldn't really focus, and then everybody was just laughing, so the music was just a distraction for us.
I think it truly sends kind of a message of this year. I mean, throughout the year, we've had some very difficult moments. And throughout all of this, the students have grounded us. And so to have such a positive message that they're sharing and kindness and just creating such an inclusive environment for all, this was their idea. This was their way of sharing kindness and happiness, and multiple opportunities and ideas have come up this year of sharing this type of message. And we're in a really hard time. And so I just wanted to invite 2 of my leadership students to talk about it because I really appreciated their creativity and their idea behind this. So thank you guys again for coming tonight. And I hope that little video could share some kindness with all of you guys here today as well. So thank you again.
Hey, Lexi and Jordan, before you go, I just want to say good job. And I want you to think back when you were Spreckels Pirates and you were bucket fillers, because you're still filling buckets now. So I'm very proud of you.
It's terrific. Thank you. We're moving on to individuals desiring to address the board. And I have public comments tonight. Only 3 tonight. And I will read them. Can you folks hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay. A couple head nods there. Thank you. All right. This one is from David Kong, CSBA Region 9B delegate to the CSBA State Delegate Assembly. Dear board members, my name is David Kong. I am your current representative to the California School Board Association to the Delegate Assembly. The CSBA Delegate Assembly creates policies for school boards to follow and gives directions to State Executive Council to advocate for our students by passing legislation at the state capitol to help improve education. I am running for re-election this year to represent all the school boards in Monterey County at the State Delegate Assembly, which meets twice a year. I was born to immigrant parents and a product of the public school system. I lived in Pacific Grove. In my early years, I attended elementary, middle school, and 1 year of high school before my family moved to East Salinas to start a family grocery business. Our family served that community with their food needs for a number of years. I graduated from Alisal High School. I was second in my family to graduate from college, CSU East Bay. I think it was called Hayward back then, David. I have worked in education for 33 years. I spent 13 years working in the classroom, helping adults complete their high school diploma, GED, or learn basic skills at the Salinas Adult School. I spent 20 years at the Monterey County Office of Education in the Technology Department, supporting MCOE and school districts around the county with their technology needs. I'm now working with the MCOE Business and Finance Department, processing the payroll and accounts payable for all school districts in Monterey County. I am currently starting my 3rd year serving as board trustee for the Greenfield School District. I was recently elected board vice president. I have attended the last 3 CSBA annual conferences. I have attended 2 state delegate assemblies this past year representing Monterey County. I have completed my master's in governance training. I have attended a CSBA lobby day in Sacramento where a group of us met with our state legislators to advocate for our students. I have attended regional meetings of state delegates where we shared information on the pandemic and trying to reopen our schools. I have served as my board's representative to the Monterey County School Boards Association, where I also serve as the e-board treasurer secretary. I am a member of the community coalition that advocates for safe use of pesticides around our schools. I have served this past year as a volunteer to prepare tax returns for low-income families. Providing for our students in a rural school district is a special challenge. I hope to continue to advocate for our rural school district students at the CSBA delegate assemblies for policies and legislation that take into account the needs of students that may lack technology and other resources to succeed in their studies. I believe that all our students deserve the best education our school can offer so they can be ready to go on to college or a vocational career. Our students need all the resources that we as school board members can provide them to succeed in school. I want to continue as an assembly delegate and advocate for our students to help create policies and pass legislation to support public education. COVID-19 is currently our greatest challenge. We need the CSBA to work with local, state, federal officials to safely reopen our schools and allow our teachers, staff, and students to return to a safe environment. I humbly ask for your support for re-election to the CSBA Delegate Assembly from David Kong. That was long. Next is, let me zoom in, is from Christy McDonald. Dear board members, I'm a parent and a member of the reopening committee. I understand that an agreement has been reached with the bargaining units and that this means the school can reopen. I also understand that the school has arranged for its teachers and staff to be given the opportunity to be vaccinated before reopening, with the second dose being administered on April 7th, which is wonderful news for everyone. As eager as I am to have my children physically back in the classroom, I really am. I want that first day of school to, I assume, to be special for everyone, including the teachers and staff. I am concerned that if teachers and staff are expected to return in person to school the first day after their second COVID vaccine, that many may still be experiencing the normal but unpleasant side effects of the second vaccine dose. The first day of school is typically an exciting day filled with anticipation and joy for teachers, staff, and students. And after more than a year in lockdown, it will be especially momentous. But the first day of school is also extremely busy. And with the additional protocols and unfamiliar routines, I'm sure it will be especially exhausting. I want everyone to be able to feel their best on this special day, and feeling exhausted with headaches, chills, or body aches is not how anyone wants to feel when we finally get back to school in person. For these reasons, I strongly encourage the board to consider pushing back the first day of in-person learning to April 13th to give the teachers and staff who are vaccinated on April 7th sufficient time to recover from any unpleasant side effects. I believe this will give everyone the best welcome back experience that we have all been tirelessly working towards. Thank you, Christy McDonald. And I have one more public comments. This one is from Kelly, either Siverston or Siverston. I apologize if I didn't pronounce it correctly. I would like to express support of keeping our schools closed. While I agree that our children thrive in the classroom, and this has been a difficult time, we all have now adjusted. Asking our kids to go back, spend a month learning how to function in the classroom, and change schedules yet again seems like yet another wrench in a system we already have figured out. Further, I don't believe it is realistic at the rate Monterey County is receiving vaccines that teachers will be vaccinated by April 6th. There simply isn't enough supply, and it will get worse as the ag labor force returns. Thank you for the hard work of teachers and administration during these trying times. And that is all I have for public comment this evening. Bargaining unit presentations. Spreckels Teachers Association. Do we have a representative from STA?
Yes, good evening. I'll keep this short and sweet. STA would like to thank the board for prioritizing student and staff well-being. We're looking forward to greeting our students with happiness and health in April. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Do we have a representative from CSBA tonight?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello. Okay. Good evening. I first off would like to thank you all for your continued support of our members, especially over the last year. As we get closer to reopening, I know that we are filled with different thoughts. Some, like myself, are excited to get back to our normal jobs on site, where others are nervous and apprehensive. I am hopeful that once we do return, as things fall into place and staff realize that a lot of time and effort has been put into ensuring everybody's safety and well-being, we will slowly start to quote unquote relax. There are still many unknowns as far as, will the kids keep their masks on? What will happen if someone gets sick? How our schedule is going to work? And like everything else, we just have to take it one day at a time. I also wanted to throw out for the district, they should consider leasing out Travis to give his speech on vaccines to other districts, because I was on the fence and I was really not for it, but we had a long talk on Monday in the office and he really opened my eyes a lot about it. So he might even need a cut in the vaccine companies, because he's pretty convincing. So anyway, a little thing out there for Travis. And we are thankful that during this last year, although jobs have been altered for some, that everyone has remained employed. I know that some districts had to lay employees off, and that was a huge fear for some of us in the beginning. Job preservation has always been on the forefront, and we appreciate that. Lastly, we're truly thankful for your support supporting the district and recognizing all of our efforts during this time and offering us the special payment. COVID seemed to take over all of our meetings and negotiations. So when the district brought the offer to us from you, it was unexpected, as the team did not feel any additional for this year would be doable. It was a welcome surprise to many. As always, thank you for what you do, and onward and upward. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to board member comments. How about Chris? Do you have any comments tonight, Chris?
Just that I'm thankful for the staff and certificated and non-certificated, and the other board members and the community members that I've had quite a few conversations over at the post office, talking to folks. And while they all have different ideas on what we should be doing, they've all been very supportive of the district and supportive of our kids, and glad that we're moving in this direction. And then just off the side, I wanted to ask Heather, I see she's got a flag behind her. If she could hold that up during the Pledge of Allegiance, that would make it easier on me. And when I first logged on and saw Sherpinski under a young woman's face, I thought, Teresa, you've had a good break. It really looks great. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie, do you have any comments tonight?
No specific comments, just taking this opportunity again to thank everybody, and yeah, it feels like there's a lot of momentum right now, so thanks.
Thank you. Jen, do you have any?
Yeah, I want to reiterate what Chris said, to thank all of our I want to say faculty and staff, all our staff, you guys know who I mean, everyone that works for the Spreckels School District, and again, our parents, right? We're a team, and we've pulled through this. And again, I want to also thank our students. Thank you, students. Thank you for coming. I've heard the rate of attendance. Thank you for coming to class. Thank you for everything that you've persevered through this last year. Mrs. Sherpinski always says Spreckels strong, and I think our students exemplify that. So thank you.
Thank you. Michael, how about you?
Yeah, I don't have too much different to say than what everyone else does, but I am grateful for all the hard work that everyone's been doing to make this happen. And as Jennifer said, thank you to the students as well. So that ends my comments.
Thank you, board members. And for myself, I am also grateful. I'm just going to pretty much repeat what I've heard, and what maybe not everybody knows in the community, and maybe not everybody on staff, is the rules of how to reopen schools keeps changing, and it even changed a little bit today. And to know that the leadership of this district, staff leadership, is dialed in to those changes and always shifting on the fly and being flexible and fluid and trying to understand what those things are. They're earning their salary and benefits this year and then some. And so I appreciate the leadership. I appreciate the staff, both classified, certificated, unrepresented folks, and the community. And soon we'll be appreciating students inside school buildings. And we'll be looking forward to that as well. That's all I have to say. Oral and written communication, I don't see any tonight, not aware of any. And now we have reports. Superintendent.
I also want to just acknowledge the girls. The middle school girls did a great job, and I think their presentation and their experience, Megan, is a perfect microcosm for this year. I mean, just the patience, resiliency, perseverance, and the sense of humor for just getting through the quirks, glitches, and at the end of the day, smiling and getting it done. And I think, again, it's a reflection of what we've been asked to do this year. It also reminded me that sometimes there's nothing wrong with in-person, right? And I hope that's the theme tonight, that we finally can put a date on our families' calendars for those who want to come back. They could circle and look forward to. So, yeah, I think tonight should be a hopeful night. Also want to shout out to our labor partners. A big thank you for me personally and for the whole district. Last week, board, you tasked us. You conditionally approved a reopening plan conditional on bringing back 2 signed settlement agreements in 1 week. And only with the cooperation and commitment of our teachers and our classified were we able to pull that off. We had some pretty intense conversations, some pretty late conversations. And so I should probably publicly apologize if I was a snippy or impatient to them. But I just had to get my homework done, guys. And we did it together. So thank you. And I think we're going to be in a good place to talk about reopening and have that reassurance that it's going to be safe. And we're going to do it right. So again, thank you to our labor groups. That's it, Steve.
I can understand and relate to being snippy at times. I appreciate you owning that. If that did happen, it sounds like it did. But
it could have.
I can empathize. I can empathize for sure. Buena Vista Middle School.
Yeah, with the students starting off with that video, when they were going through, I joined in on their Google Meet, and all I heard was, man, he ruined the video. So, that's just, that's this year. That's us, trying to jump in and then being told to slow back down, and then being told we're going to open again, and then being told to slow back down. And so I just thought it was such a perfect analogy of the year. And so I do want to thank everybody, like everybody's talking. CSBA has worn numerous hats this year. I had a couple teachers talking about how they can't have Imagine this year without their support in the classrooms. So a big shout out there. The teachers have jumped around with different groups, different styles of teaching, different modalities. So we've had kind of a science shift across our teachers this year, and they've really stepped up. Again, the board, you guys have taken on a huge load this year as well. It's not easy making decisions that half the population might not agree with. And we've all done this, and we've all done what's best for the community. Parents have had an additional load as well. They've acted as teachers at home supporting their children, and children have had, just such a tough time. So I wanted to just say thank you to everybody. We've all gone through this year and worked through what is a very difficult time, and we're still smiling and laughing and looking forward and still trying to reopen and moving forward, and we're taking one step forward as we go. So thank you to all involved and this great community that we live in. Your turn, Teresa.
Thank you.
Say everything.
Spreckels Elementary School.
I agree with everyone. Everyone deserves a thank you. This year has felt like going down the yellow brick road, and there's little munchkins in front of me pulling up the bricks as I go and making me go down a different path to try to find the yellow brick road again. And that's kind of how we've been going. And those little munchkins are helping us build the road back up now, and we're getting to the Emerald City. So I'm very, very excited. It's actually personally been a really emotional few weeks thinking about opening, because I respect everybody's decisions about what they're choosing, whether families are keeping their children home or sending them to school. I know it's not easy to do half days. I know it's impacting people's schedules. But I do want to publicly and personally say I am ecstatic that the children are coming back to school. And I know that no matter how it goes, it'll work out. It's going to happen because they're going to be happy to be back. We can't wait to see them. And it's time to get our community back in the same place. And that's really important. So we have to do it together, and we'll continue to work on it together. So I'm not worried about it, because I know from my custodians to my office staff to my teachers to my classified staff to everybody that's on this this board meeting, everybody will be supportive. We hit a snap, somebody will be there to help. And that's just how we've always been in Spreckels. And so I'm not afraid. I'm worried. I know it's going to work out. It's to make happen. So I just want to say I'm very grateful for all the support we have had, just like everyone had mentioned before. And with that being said, I just want to share one more thing. We have focused on Read Across America this week, which we've always done. It's one of our biggest times at school when we're in person. So we made it one of our biggest times virtually. And we have celebrated the joy of reading all week this week. Our PTO has done our first ever readathon, and they've made quite a good bit of money because kids are reading up a storm. The children have, as a school, passed 100 million words. So Mr. Tiralo and myself and Mr. Robert will be plunging into the Pacific Ocean Sunday morning. Can't wait. We're excited about that. But, you know, we just have a very special community, and I'm just very proud to be part of it. And I cannot wait to talk to the children face to face really soon. So thank you all for all your hard work.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from SUEF tonight? No.
No, I didn't receive any communication.
No? Okay, thanks. PTO? No.
Yes, I have an update.
PTO?
Oh, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, from PTO? Okay.
So PTO, yeah, the PTO is running a readathon fundraiser, which I think Mrs. Sherpinski talked about a little bit, to encourage student reading and to raise funds to support PTO. And so far they've raised over $10,000 already. And that's going to go towards supporting teachers and students in the classroom with supplies, curriculum, and manipulatives, as well as events and activities as they plan for return to in-person learning. And then the readathon runs from March 3rd to March 12th. So it's coming up towards the end. And the book fair is also occurring right now. It's an online event, and that's running through March 7th. And their next bi-monthly meeting is on Tuesday, March 16th at 7 o'clock via Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from Bobcat Club?
No Bobcat either.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to business information. February 28th, fund balance report, please.
So, Steve, do you want me to bring these up, or I can give you a verbal on the first three, and then I think Eric is going to share his screen on the first action item. So as he prepares that, I'll give you a verbal on the fund balance report. It's ending February 28th. It represents 66% of our fiscal year, and we have an operating surplus of about $140,000. So we're actually trending on the positive at the end of this month, this period. And March will represent the first month that we're in the deferrals of revenue limit. And we'll start to see the impact of our ending fund balance supporting that short-term deferral.
Okay. Anything else on that, Veronica? We're good.
No, if you ever have any specific questions, don't hesitate to reach out and we can talk more about it.
Cool. Any other board members have any comments or questions for staff on the fund balance report? Seeing none, let's move on to facilities.
So the facilities, there is just so much going on right now. The custodians and maintenance staff are working very hard getting the classrooms set up, getting all of our PPE distributed. We've had assessments of our HVAC systems. We've put in some new thermostats. We're updating our system to operate all of our HVAC systems, so they're all going to be online. There's just been so much going on. So it's going to be great when y'all can actually come out with your mask on and check the sites out. Buena Vista looks better than it's looked since it was probably built. We've been doing painting projects during all of this, and it's just going to be great to have the kids here so they can see the work that's been done. It's been a very busy 11 months now, almost 12. We're about a week away from this 1 year mark.
Yep, that's right.
Yes.
I was reflecting on the seasonal decorations that were up in classrooms a year ago. You can just leave them up, pretty much. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. How about the quarterly treasurer's report? I know that was I kept that right under my pillow since the board packet came out. I don't know about anybody else, but if you want to go over that.
Yeah, this is presented quarterly by the county supervisors. It just shows you in detail the many places that our money is working. It's working money.
Right on. Thank you. Moving on to action. 2021 school reopening plan update for bargaining unit memorandums of understanding. I don't know, does staff prefer to do a presentation here, or do we want to have a motion on the floor? What works for staff?
I would say that due to all the changing parts, we should probably do the presentation first, if that's okay with you guys.
And hold off on a motion? Okay, we can do that. That's fine.
Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Please let me know when you can see it.
I can see it.
Great. As Steve mentioned at the very beginning, the rules to the reopening game change daily, actually today by the hour. And so hopefully this presentation can bring you up to speed, and it reflects a slight revision to what we talked about last Thursday based on, again, a lot of changing parts this week. First, great news is our local and state COVID rates are continuing to drop. This came out on Tuesday. This is what the county health department puts out. As you can see, California is still pretty much in the purple. Word today is that due to many things, including the lower rates, it should be transitioning to pretty much red in the next few weeks, if not month. And important here is that we went from 3 weeks ago, 24 new cases per 100,000 to last week, 18 to this Tuesday, 10. And that's great because that's getting really close to what's called the red tier. And that's when all of our students, TK through 8, can come back. And I'll share in a second just how close we are. So by this slide, just represent we still have safer conditions, steadily lowering rates, and basically we're in an environment that we can bring kids back safely. We started talking about reopening, a couple months ago. It was triggered by the then governor's proposal to bring back kids, and his initial proposal had pretty unrealistic timelines, specifically February 1st to submit a plan, March. It got a lot of pushback from Sacramento, and then what emerged were Assembly Bill and Senate Bill 86, and ironically, that got a lot of pushback from the governor. And over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of negotiating in Sacramento, and as of yesterday, they struck a deal, and the deal, I believe, was signed today. It's on the governor's desk, and here are the highlights. It's still, it went from being a base grant to being what they call an opt-in grant. Just to start, we've always said that the money is not going to drive our decisions. We're going to decide to reopen when it's safe and when we do it right. Fortunately, we've been taking the right steps along the way, so our plan aligns very well with what was signed today. In fact, it exceeds it in many areas. So, quick highlight of the bill. $2 billion will go to school districts that, starting on April 1st, provide, depending on your tier, different versions of in-person instruction. Where we are now, we would have to for sure bring back all prioritized pupil cohorts. What we talked about before: English learners, special ed, kids that don't have connectivity, chronically absent kids. When you get to the purple rate of right now under 25, where we're at, you also have to bring back TK through second. And then if you get to the red, you have to bring back all elementary school and 1 grade middle school or high school. What we're going to present tonight is bringing back all of our students, TK through 8, hopefully at the same time, if not a slight delay for the older kids while those numbers get to where they need to be. Part of the bill also was to give parents the continued option for distance learning. This bill was very different than what was proposed by the Assembly and Senate originally, in that labor agreements were no longer mandatory. We in fact thought it was important to actually go through that step, and we kind of shared the good news that we were able to do that this week. In the bill, vaccines are recommended but not required. We believe that sense of reassurance for our staff was important, so we did actually work in some vaccine language into both of the agreements. And the bill also allows for, it lessens up on the asymptomatic surveillance testing. And it like past bills, has quite a bit of money for expanded learning opportunities, AKA summer school, longer school year, longer school day. And that plan is due in June 1st. Now, as I mentioned, we set ourselves up to meet all the timelines. So whenever this bill was actually passed, we would be in the right position. And what we actually are offering is a bit more, I say exceeding the requirements. What we're proposing, and I apologize, but the dates are going to change because of what's happened in the last 24 hours as far as vaccine information. But we are still recommending that we bring kids back for phase 2, which is our AM/PM hybrid, the week of April 5th. Last week, we talked about bringing back the 6th. When this slide was first made, we thought we would adjust the date a bit to the 8th. And the reason for that, for people looking, it was strategic. We were very, very fortunate to partner up with Washington Union School District and the VNA to offer our teachers a closed pod vaccine that actually takes place on the 7th. And we would have close to 40 teachers out or staff out that day, and coming back on the 7th just wouldn't work. So again, we're going to modify that a bit in our recommendation tonight. So for sure, we're bringing back all TK through 5 that want to come back. And if in the next month, and we believe strongly we will be able to, we also want to bring back our middle schoolers at the same time. And that's if we just dip a little, 3 points lower. Right now, we're 10 new cases per 100,000. If we get to 7, we will be in the red and we can bring back middle school. And as we talked about, the game changes. Today, new information came out that the tiers may be recalibrated. What I mean by that is that red may now go up to 10. So there's a very, very good chance that we're going to meet the criteria to bring back TK all the way to 8 by that April 5th week. Our plan also talks about allowing parents to make the option for distance learning. Right now, we estimate anywhere from 20 to 30% of our families are choosing that. We're doing our very best to make sure that whatever we offer in distance learning, limits the upheaval for kids and also makes it as easy as possible on teachers that have to provide in-person and distance learning in a given day. We're not big enough to have basically, in essence, 2 schools. We can't have an in-person school and a virtual school. We're going to be asking our teachers to kind of do both. And so we're trying to provide them with the support to do that. As mentioned, we went ahead and ratified or completed those MOUs with both labor groups. And we hope we gave them the support they need to feel comfortable coming back. And as mentioned, we were able to get into a partnership that offered that closed pod that will first shot would be next Wednesday, and the follow-up, this is the Moderna vaccine, would be 28 days from that, which would be April 7th. And that's why we're modifying the proposal. April 7th, we're going to have, again, 40 staff members that will be leaving throughout the day to get their second shot. We can't pull off in person with that dynamic. Also in our plan, we will make sure surveillance testing is aligned to the public health guidelines, and we will continue our conversation about expanded learning. Now, I sent this as the board directed in the past. They want the feedback of the reopening committee before it comes to the board. So I sent this out this morning, and a lot of good feedback, and it had to do with that date to bring back kids, and feedback on both sides of the issue. What was brought up is that the more and more we know about the second Moderna shot, there seems to be for quite a lot of people, about 24 hours of negative side effects, headache, lethargic, perhaps the elevated temperature, usually subsides after 24 hours. I called our VNA nurse contact today just to confirm that, and she said most people do, in fact, get better if they are sick after that 24th hour. The feedback that we really do have a lack of substitutes. Normally, we have maybe 1 or 2 currently for both our class 5 and our teachers. So keeping the reopening day on that day that we're having the second shot just logistically will not work. There also was comments made about the importance of really having the regular teacher in there for in person that first day, that stability. These kids haven't even met their teachers yet in person. We would like to modify this to make that happen. And on the other side, very valid. You know what? These kids have been waiting all year long. Every day we wait, it's another day. And why don't we stick with the established timeline? So given all of that feedback, which again, thank you to the reopening committee. They've been wonderful. One possible option that we're recommending is to keep the week of the 5th as our reopening week. I think that's important to keep that for our families. Structure it in a bit different way. Monday through Thursday, we recommend to make them asynchronous. At the same time, we will schedule in-person orientations for all the grade levels. So every grade level will have a chance to come to school, practice lining up, rehearsing the health and safety protocols, meeting their teachers, doing some of the fun first day stuff that they probably can't once we actually start and parents, again, can't enter the facilities. This also allows an extra day. If we do it the 9th, have the first day of in-person be in the 9th, it gives that extra day of recuperation after the second shot. And allows also, depending on how it goes on that Friday, it gives us that weekend plus Monday to iron out any first day issues that if we encounter them on a Wednesday would have to be remedied within 12 hours. So I'm going to come back and answer any questions. But basically, it's the same plan as last week with the modification of the days of the week. So Monday through Thursday, the recommendation is to make them asynchronous and include in-person orientations for the kids, and then start with our hybrid on that Friday, and from there, go forward. Any questions or comments?
Thank you. I'm gonna poll board members for questions before we take action, just so that everybody has any questions hanging are answered before we get into taking action and or debate with it. Chris, did you have any clarifications you needed?
I do. Eric, does the shift to Friday necessitate any renegotiation of either the MOU or our contract?
It would require a slight modification, just a quick initialing off on the MOU with the teachers. I've talked to them informally. I think we could do that, given that I think it benefits everybody to have that extra day.
Okay. And then this is just from Jen and me, because we are scientists over at the university. Those side effects that you're talking about, they're the effects. That's your immune system popping in there and working. We want those effects. The side effects are things like allergic reactions. We don't want those, but the effects are, we're giving a booster shot, your immune system's kicking in, and that's all good. So don't think about them as bad side effects. Think them as your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And it may make you a little tired, it may cause you a little pain, but you want to feel that one. Sorry, Jen, I spoke for you.
No, I appreciate it. This is part of my continued education, so thank you.
Yeah.
We are worried about the effects of the second vaccine.
There you go.
Thank you.
He's giving Travis a run for his money there.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Chris? That's it? Chris?
No.
Okay. Jen, did you have any questions?
I do. Eric, you had said that the students would be able to come onto campus, and I just want to clarify that the principals will be reaching out to the students who are coming back to campus so that they can take pictures. But I do have one slight thing is I don't want to leave out the kids that are staying home. It would be wonderful if they could have an opportunity to come to campus to take their picture too.
That's a good, why don't we go to real time? Kate, you want to share what your plan would be and perhaps if we can accommodate that request?
I actually think that additional day would be a great day for our online students to come and do the same thing that our other students are doing. But currently we're talking about reopening, and there is a lot of new information for students to learn for coming back safely. And when we bring students back, we want to make sure that we're bringing students back safely. And when we do that, we don't want everybody arriving at the same time, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to line up, not knowing what the new protocols are. And yes, we're going to send videos out to families very, very soon to keep you guys in the loop about everything that's going on. But there's nothing better than having the kids practice in person if they can. So the goal is to set aside a day at the middle school. Teresa has her own plan at the elementary school where students will get to come. 6th grade will come one day. Ideally, I can do 6th grade on the 6th, 7th grade on the 7th, and 8th grade on the 8th, and maybe that online group on the 5th. And we would actually stagger their start times, let them practice lining up, have them walk through the campus for 6th grade. That is huge because they're new to the campus. They've never actually been there. But I've been working with Bobcat Club, and we've been talking about getting posters set up, having the mascot out there, getting those lovely things that go up and down at the car lots so that it's exciting. We want to reach out to get maybe pictures in front of the school because that's typically a pastime that families do when they arrive on that first day of school. And this is their second first day of school this year. So we want to give families a safe way to allow students to be able to acknowledge that they're back at school without taking away that excitement with all the protocols that we do need to go over. So this would allow us to really slow things down, to allow us to bring students back safely, to allow them to meet their teachers and to walk the campus in a way that we would normally not have been able to do. So I'm pretty excited about the staggered approach because I really do want students to be able to physically understand where they need to go and all of the differences in school, but not in a scary way, in a way that we can answer questions and carefully go over everything.
Thank you. Jen, did you have anything else?
No, that was my key thing. Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Stephanie, what about you? Did you have any questions?
Not so much questions, but just comments. I really appreciate the presentation because I think it clarified a lot of maybe concerns, and actually I think a lot of the points really made a lot of sense, and hearing from the other people talk about it as well too. That orientation, really important, right? The students haven't actually been on campus, and how important it is that their teacher is there that day that they go to their first day of school, and that their teacher feels well. So I think those are really important things for us to consider, and how great that there is this pod that is making it accessible for our staff and faculty. So, maybe it feels like it's a potential delay, but I think it's what I've heard tonight. I don't feel like it's a delay. I feel like we're using those days in that week in a really productive and positive manner that is going to make that first day even that much better for the students. So I really appreciate hearing from you all. So thank you.
Thank you. Michael, did you have any questions?
No, my questions and concerns have been addressed from others. Thank you.
Mine as well. I would love to entertain a motion on this matter.
So I'd like to make a motion, if that's okay. I move that we approve the school reopening plan update under the conditions that we start the week of April 5th, just as it said on the slide, with the first 4 days asynchronous with in-person orientation, and that the first day of hybrid instruction would start on April 9th.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Does anybody want to speak for or against the motion?
Wait, and so I do, I want to have the motion, but I want to make sure that if the MOU that Eric mentioned gets changed, that we would sort of automatically move forward. The board wouldn't have to approve it again.
Would you like to add?
Yeah, I would like to add that to the motion.
Again, to include that language.
Yes, I would.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I would like to add to or amend my motion to include that if the MOU gets signed by our bargaining units, that the reopening plan move forward as I described without any further board action.
So let me help you out with that amendment. Contingent upon modification of the MOU with applicable bargaining unit or units. Just add that.
That sounds great. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And Chris, do you accept the amendment?
Yeah, I second the amendment if that's what you mean.
Do you accept the amendment to?
Yeah.
Good. All right.
It's not really partly.
I learned a long time ago there's no such thing as a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
So anyways, Robert's rules for you.
I'll just forget the first motion that Michael made, and I'll second this motion.
Fair enough. Thank you. Well, we amended it. So is there anybody who would like to speak out for or against the motion? And I'll pause just to be sure.
Call the question, Steve.
Question's been called. I don't think we need to vote for that. I didn't hear anybody anyway. So let's go with a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-0. I'm just going to pause the meeting for a second or two and just recognize what we've just done. And I don't hear my neighbors yelling, but my windows are closed. So it's done. We're moving on. All right. I don't hear. I should have some first grade. I have first grade twins next door. I don't hear anything. Maybe they're in bed. Okay. All right. That being said, let's move on to the consolidated application. I'd love to entertain a motion on it first.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff, did you want to make a presentation on this?
This is a report that you see twice a year, and it identifies the apportionments coming from the federal government, and we comply with all of the assurances through submitting this and presenting it to the board. Our total federal dollars are just under $100,000. Sadly, it's not a lot of money in these categories, but they roll them all together in this nice little bundle called consolidated application, and this drives our funding stream.
Thank you.
You'll see it again in the summer, twice a year.
Looking forward to it. In person. All right. Anyway. Yes. Does anybody have any questions about this? Board members? No. Seeing none, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-0. On to the next. Second interim report. Let's have a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Staff, did you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I would actually like to share my screen if you don't mind, just to show you one document in this giant report. It's on page 143. Can you let me know if it shows up?
Yeah, but I have a hard copy too, so it's all good. Okay. For me, yeah, it's there.
Okay. It's really, this is just the summary sheet. I just want to kind of break it down very simple. At the second interim, this is where we think we are, a snapshot in time now at this moment. And so our revenues for the year are just at $10 million. Our expenditures are less than $10 million, which is always good to spend a little less than you receive. And then after taking in the revenues, out the expenditures, we start to focus on that ending balance. And within the ending balance is $5.4 million. There are many components. Some of them are restricted dollars. That's this first list on the left. And then others are unrestricted, but we substantiate the need for them. And this is a moving document, but some of these things, they're sort of like a wish list, if you will. And so at this point, you can see out of our remaining $4.4 million in the reserve, we have about $1 million, just under $1 million designated for facility repair or projects. You may remember we have the VV track improvement on the wish list. We have the upcoming Spreckels School restroom replacement project. And this is also where I show you that because of the deferrals that are projected, we've set aside, and at this point, it's $1.9 million for the February, March, April, May, and June deferrals. So when that all comes back, of course, it's released back into our reserve when that cash actually hits our books. But of this entire report, I think this is the most important page because it sort of summarizes where we are fiscally, which is in a very healthy state.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Veronica?
No. Just appreciation for that work, Veronica, and also appreciation for blowing up that, because my younger colleagues probably can read those things, but it helps me to have it in a little bigger font. So thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, I'll take a roll call vote. Chris?
Yes.
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Passes 5-0-0. Resolution number 20-2112, second interim budget revision. I'd love to entertain a motion on that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Do you have anything on this, Veronica?
This just represents every transactional item within the budget as we revise and align again where we are at this moment in time from where we were this time last December. It's simply transactional.
It's bureaucratic malaise. I love it.
Yes.
That's what you meant to say. Okay. I'll take a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-0. On to curriculum instruction. Information action. Science instructional materials aligned with California state standards and published by Amplify. 7-year adoption. Presentation by Buena Vista Middle School Science Department. Let's get a motion on it first, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and then I guess there's going to be a presentation.
Steve, just point of order. The first motion is to go into public hearing after the presentation, and then you'll come out of public hearing and then make the motion on approving the adoption.
Yeah,
We need
she's
to.
right.
A motion for a public hearing. Well, we have that. But did you want a presentation ahead of that?
Yes, so that just the information, the process of getting to the adoption, and I think Ms. Sparaki is here too, from the science department to do that for us.
I'm sure she's going to get vaccinated if she already hasn't. I'm guessing. Anyways, that being said, can we pull back on the motion for now for the public hearing?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Let's have that presentation, please.
All right. So, Kelly, if you want to talk about our process as we went through all of last year and this year and exploring different science curriculums and just the differences and what we ended up testing out and how we handled the transition when we found out we were in a pandemic and everything was shifted online. So I'll let you take it away.
Okay, thank you. So I don't have anything fancy to show you, sorry. But I can tell you that this is a long time coming and boy, am I excited. We have been piloting this year all at the middle school, which I have to say was a bit of a challenge. And I'm really excited to be going forward, particularly with the Amplified curriculum. So our journey started a year ago when we decided to try a couple of different curricula out at the middle school. The first one that we tried had a really excellent hands-on approach. And for those of you who are familiar with the Next Generation Science Standards, it's really an inquiry-driven, student-based approach to teaching and learning about science. And so we were looking for something that would hit a number of areas. One, of course, is that igniting student excitement about science and kind of putting them in the driver's seat when it comes to discovery. So we tried one last year called iQuest. It had a lot of hands-on, very like experience-based stuff terrible online piece. We were like, no, thank you. Thank goodness we didn't go with it, because look where we are today, right? It would be impossible to teach if we were not in a classroom. Then we tried the McGraw-Hill, and I think they were called Activate Learning. And it just seemed a little too retrofitted for what we were looking for. It wasn't as updated as we had hoped, and it didn't really have the mystery sort of that surrounds science inquiry. The answer was sometimes literally on the next page, and we didn't want to give something like that to our students. They had a more robust online piece, but we felt with Amplify, which we've been trying this year, we have hands-on materials, some of which I'm hoping we get to use when we get back into the classroom, safely, of course. And they have a really good online portion. We have been doing simulations throughout the 3 grade levels all year. There are good driving questions for each unit of study. And so I feel really comfortable and excited choosing this for our adoption. So that's it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Are we ready for the public hearing? Looks that way. I'd love to have a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those favor, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jan?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Passes 5-0-0. We are in public hearing on this matter. There's my gavel. Does anybody want to speak to it from the public?
We received no comments under the public hearing for this.
Then I'm going to use my gavel and close public hearing. Motion to adjourn from public hearing. I'd love to have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jan?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Amplify Science Instructional Materials 7-year adoption. I'd love to have a motion on that, please.
So moved.
They moved.
Steve, someone else is going to have to second because I have to abstain because I am a consultant with the Lawrence Hall of Science on this project.
Well, look at you paying attention to conflict of interest. I appreciate that. Could someone else second it if they would,
I'd
please?
be happy to second this one.
You're not a consultant either, are you? Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't know if there's any debate on this. I don't think so. Any board members want to have any questions?
I just want to say thank you for trying things out and really, really seeing what's going to work best for the students.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote. Chris?
Abstain.
There you go. Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0-1. Wow.
Now that you've taken that vote, I really want to appreciate that you went that way. And Kelly, that way that ended up, I wish I could have influenced it, but you ended up, I think, in the right place, having looked over all that stuff and done a lot of work.
Okay. And Kelly, I hope they're straight about side effects and effects in those books, right?
Yeah.
Our 6th grade is learning about genetics right now.
Is there a unit on vaccines? And if so, all right. Okay. Personnel, nothing. In administration, information committee updates. You have any committee updates?
No, we're going to kick off our first LCAP meeting later in the month. That's it.
Okay. Moving on to action, final read, October 2020, policies per guide sheet. I'd love to entertain a motion on those, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion, any comments, board members? We're all good? Okay, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-0. First read, December 2020 policies per guide sheet. I'd love to entertain a motion on them, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Okay. All right, let's move on with the vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-0. Number 4, first read, school calendar for next year, along with instructional minutes. Let's get a motion on that first.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, staff, did you want to speak to the calendar for next year?
It's very similar to what you've seen in the past. It aligns to the same kind of opening the third week of August, same breaks. It was interesting though. Normally the calendar committee can get kind of lively, a lot of debate. This year was pretty smooth, and I think it's because of what we experienced this year. I think people realize a calendar can change, and it will change, and we'll get by regardless. So thank you to the calendar committee, but this is very similar to what you've seen in the past.
Any questions from board members or comments on the calendar for next school year?
Thank you for keeping ski week.
Anything else? That's it? Okay. Let's call the vote then. Chris?
Aye.
Did you vote,
Aye.
Chris? Okay. Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Passes 5-0-0. Next, ratification of Appendix B, Superintendent's annual goals with revisions based on COVID-19 for this school year. I'd like to entertain a motion on that, please.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion or questions from staff on this? From board members on this. Pardon me. It's been I've been up since 4. Sorry. I apologize. No naps either.
Steve, I'd like to comment that this year being unprecedented in what's happened to us. Michael and I, as the board team that went to talk to Eric about those goals, made some revisions because some of the things that he needed to do needed to be reframed in regard to what's happened with the COVID. And it was a very amicable conversation. We were able to get that done in short order, and we all saw the need for it. So the revisions part went well, and then when we went back and looked at it after having revised it, we found that the conditions had been met. So we've made both of those recommendations to the board.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else? None? Okay, let's call the vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. The motion passes 5-0-0. CSBA Delegate Assembly Election. How do we want to do this? If we have a motion, don't we have to put a name to it if we vote on it? I think, staff, can you help me out here? Do we need to look at the candidate? The candidates were in the packet. There were only 2.
Yes.
There was a letter from one that I read in public comment at the beginning of the meeting. Did you want to put some on the screen or no?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay. All right. So I just want to help you out for anybody who wants to make a motion on this. The public comment from one of the candidates explains what this is about. Basically, we're all members of the California School Boards Association by virtue of just being a board member. And the district pays for our association fees. I don't know what they are each year, but they cost something, not much. But there's a governance to them, and regional governance. You have a regional delegate. So these two folks here, David and Veronica, are running to be essentially our representatives from our region to the California School Boards Association Delegate Assembly. And so your options are to make a motion voting for either David or Veronica, or not voting at all. Either way. But we do have it on the agenda, so we need to make some sort of action on this. And I'll leave it up to you folks, to somebody to come forward with a motion if you want.
Steve, I would move to nominate. What are we doing? Nominating or?
I think we're voting.
Okay, so I would recommend that we as a board vote for David Kang from the Greenfield Union School District for this, School Board, California School Boards Association Delegate Assembly.
David Kang, okay. And is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any debate on this, anyone?
I'm really just saying this because I know David and I don't know Veronica. But
yeah, David and I have many meetings together. We cross paths frequently. I do know David as well, known for a long time. That being said,
can I comment?
Sure.
Oh, I was just going to say I did read Veronica's statement, and I did notice that she had quite a bit of community engagement and involvement. So I did note that, and I thought that might be some strength that she brought to that position.
Mm-hmm. The motion we have, thank you. The motion we have right now, at least for the moment, that we're going to take up is to vote for David at the moment. Does anybody want to speak for or against that motion? I'm just staring at little squares and see if anybody wants to come forward.
Yeah, I guess I made the motion, so I know David, and I think that he would do a great job of this. But
okay,
I don't know the other person.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak to the motion, for or against? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take the roll call vote on the motion. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
You're an aye? Okay. And Michael?
Aye.
And the motion passes 5-0-0. Thank you. Consent. Consent, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's we've made it to near the end. Does anyone want to pull anything from consent, or does staff want to draw attention to anything in consent?
No.
Not seeing none. Well, I would love to take consent in one bundle. Could I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, here we go. Roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Steph?
Aye.
Aye.
Did Stephanie say aye?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh,
Aye.
I didn't hear her. I'm sorry. Maybe my internet's a little. I don't know. Okay, and Michael, I heard you. So it passes 5-0-0. Sorry about that. I didn't hear Stephanie at all. Here we go. Future agenda items. The next meeting is on April Fool's Day, and it's in the Spreckels School Auditorium. So I'm hoping there'll be 0.0 shenanigans since it's April Fool's. 0.0. That's an Animal House reference. 0.0 shenanigans. Okay. Anything we need to add here, staff, do you think? Or fellow
I
board
have
members?
challenged you to a mask competition, so don't forget.
I forgot.
I've already been on the hunt. So
I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now.
Hey, Steve, I've got one. Mrs. Sherpinski and Mr. Torello, is it traditional for the board president to join in any Pacific Ocean plunges that you guys commit yourself to for, these kinds of competitions?
I don't know. I think it would probably promote morale and team unity personally, but you know.
And when is this going to happen?
Saturday at 9, Steve.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday?
Sunday.
I'll be doing it Saturday, so I guess I missed you guys.
I just want you to know my nephew is visiting with his buddy that's being discharged from the Marine Corps, and they're making a West Coast swing and stopping here to pick up some things and have and spend a day here, socially distanced. And I know that sounds like I'm being super lame, but my Sunday is booked. As is my Saturday, but they're booked. Now, hey, next year, I'm on board.
Well, this year, maybe the vice president can do it.
That's not me.
I forgot.
Oh, Madam Vice President. Madam Vice President.
It only happens one time.
Sign me up for next year. Sign me up. I if I had known sooner, I would have done it. I really would have. Okay. That being said, no more agenda items. If I could have a motion to adjourn, I could probably sneak off the bed real quick.
So moved.
All right. All those in favor, Chris.
Aye.
Jen.
Aye.
I'm definitely an aye. Stephanie.
Aye.
And Michael.
Aye.
All right, folks. Get those schoolhouses ready.
So just in honor of our last virtual meeting, I want to thank you for being so patient with the roll call votes. We won't have to do that when we're in person unless it's a resolution. I mean, it's just going to change.
Can we please do it? Can we please get doing? I really like them, kind of.
No.
I'm going to have to retrain myself not to do that. All right. Fair enough. Understood. And we'll see each other on April 1st in person. Looking forward to it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.